What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? 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 It's your boy, the one and only Almighty Aeon.
Rudimentary creatures of blood and flesh, you touch my mind, fumbling in ignorance.
This isn't a roster that's confirmed. This is my ideal roster. First up to base is the OG. No Dragon Ball if he ain't there. Son Goku. Our Saiyan raised on Earth is the son of Bardock and Gine, adopted son to Grandpa Gohan, husband to Chi-Chi, and father to Gohan and Goten. When you pick up Goku in Tenkaichi 4, you'll be presented with 5 base variations: Kid, Teen, Adult, GT Kid, and Uzaru. Next up on the lineup, we have the Savage, who's been to the deepest, most dangerous parts of the universe. Rightful heir to the throne, husband to Bulma, father to Trunks and Bulla. It's Prince Vegeta. When you pick Vegeta in Tenkaichi 4, you're going to have 5 base variations: Kid, Arrival, Adult, GT, and Uzaru. Next up, named after his great-grandfather, hailing from the House of Sun, originally intended to take over as protagonist, we have my personal favorite, Son Gohan. When you pick Gohan in Tenkaichi 4, you'll have 7 base variations, those being Kid, Youth, Teen, Future, Adult, GT, and Uzaru. Last remaining member of the Demon Clan, trainer of the legendary Son Gohan, untouchable in willpower and mental fortitude. Give it up for the strongest Namekian alive, Piccolo! When you select Piccolo in Tenkaichi 4, you'll have 4 base variations to choose from: Demon King, Kid, Z, and Super. Next up, we have the rowdiest of all rascals, the youngest Super Saiyan to ever live, son to Goku and Chi-Chi, brother to Gohan. Give it up to the little prince of the House of Sun, Son Goten. When you pick Goten in Tenkaichi 4, you'll have 3 base variations to choose from: Kid, GT Teen, and Super Teen. Next in line for the throne, son to the Prince of all Saiyans, second youngest Super Saiyan to have ever lived. Put your hands together for the time traveler himself, Trunks. Picking Trunks in Tenkaichi 4 provides 4 base variations: Kid, Z Future, Super Future, and GT. Now we have potentially the rawest dog in all of Dragon Ball. King to all the anime characters, slayer of Android 18 Coochie. Give a war cry for my boy, the one and only Krillin. If you choose Krillin, you'll have 4 base variations: Kid, Teen, Z, and Super. Former thug and assassin, associating himself with legends, bringer of Dragon Ball into the meme world, and professional baseball player, it's our Wolfang Fist himself, Yamcha! Picking Yamcha only provides 3 base variations: Kid, Teen, and Adult. A prodigy of the Crane School of Martial Arts, now master of his own academy, humiliator of Cell. Round of applause for Tien Shinhan. Tien will have 3 base variations, those being Student, Z, and Super. Coming up next, they call him the baddest of all bad, king of his people and general of his own military, the one that can't stop ascending. Consider him the most vile creature to ever exist, Lord Frieza! Frieza will have 4 whole base variations, being his first, second, third, and final forms. Next is the often picked on brother of Kakarot, considered to be a runt. Let's hear it for Raditz. Raditz has 3 base variations, those being Kid, Adult, and Uzaru. Following Raditz, we have the towering brute to Vegeta's squad with facial hair to be jealous of. Let's have it. It's Nappa. Nappa has 2 base variations, those being Z and Uzaru. Designed after Dr. Giro's son, having one purpose and one purpose only, to kill Son Goku, he went against his programming and became the animal lover we all know and love. Bring your hands together for Android 16. 16 does not, in fact, have any base variations. Now, what can we do other than follow him up with this legend? Birthed with the name Lapis, abducted by Dr. Gero and turned into a killing machine, protector to an island of animals in the name of his former partner, it's Android 17. 17 does, in fact, have 2 variations, Programmed and Park Ranger. Of course, we had to include him on the lineup. It's the time-traveling bio-android comprised of Earth's strongest warriors, hell-bent on achieving perfection, cower in fear of him. Cell! Cell has 3 base variations, imperfect, semi-perfect, and perfect. Child of the soil, servant to Nappa and Vegeta, turn your attention toward the evil Cyberman. Cyberman has no base variations. Next up on the list, resurrected by Babidi's magic, the most chaotic, hungry, and sleepy creature to ever exist. Strong enough to scare the gods. Give it up for a Boo! Boo has 3 base variations, Fat, Super, and Kid. Try not to stare too long at our final competitor, tonight's brightest star, the baddie who married a monk, the beast who put Super Vegeta to shame. She is Android 18, who has no base variations. Keeping the train going on the baddies, we've got the daughter to the world's martial arts champion, wife of an absolute legend, superhero by trade. Put your hands together for the fearless, the vicious, the victorious Videl, who has no base variations. Next up is Namek's Pride, guardian to the Guru. He's a stone-cold focused warrior hailing from planet Namek. Make your way for the notorious, and no bullshit, no nonsense, no. Some may call him a seed of perfection. He's a lean, mean, blue and true fighter. Don't let looks deceive you. Keep an eye out for the cutthroat, cataclysmic Cell Jr. Next, we've got this one who's hard set on following the orders of his creator. He's fast as lightning and strong as thunder. Make some room for the almighty, the anarchist, Android 19. And of course, to follow 19, we have the man himself, hell-bent on the destruction of Goku, the most revered scientist from the Red Ribbon Army. He's the dedicated, the demolitionist, Dr. Gero. After the Doctor, we've got an Acrosian who knows no bounds, a frost demon from the coldest reaches of hell. Second in line for the throne, it's the critical, the crushing Cooler. Following him, it's a literal demon. He'll turn you into stone without hesitation. Hailing from hell, it's the diabolical, the destructive Dabura. father to two of the universe's most feared frost demons, only ever needing his second form to exert his command. He's the killer, the kingly King Cold. Keeping up with the fathers, he's the father of a superhero, wrangler of a beast that threatened the universe, martial arts champion of the world. He's the heroic, hurtful Hercule. He's a Saiyan who wanted to change the future, traveled back in time just to become the first Super Saiyan. He's the badass, the brutal Bardock. Bardock does in fact have two base variations, those being Z and Xeno. Gotta follow up with another badass Saiyan. Any and everyone would call him a legend the way he learns when he fights. He can shatter the barriers of reality itself. He's the best, the biggest bad Broly, who also has two base variations, those being Z and Super. Keeping up with the B trend, he's one cool cat who needs no introduction. A god of destruction that knows the importance of rest. He's the bona fide belittler, Lord Beerus. Next up, he's the trainer of Universe 7's strongest, wrangler to the most destructive being in the universe. He's the witty, the wise, the whimsical Whis. Following Whis, he's a feline that won't be outclassed by his brother. Angry as all hell and with a bottomless stomach, he's the charming, the crucial Lord Champa. And of course, following Champa, she's the trainer to Universe 6's biggest brat. Calm, cool, and collected, she's the victorious, victimless Vados. Going back in time a bit, he's the gorgeous right hand of Frieza, the zealot with no care for your bullshit. He's the royal, the ruthless Zarbon. Of course, following Zardon, he's the efficient right hand of Frieza, the pinkest warrior you'll ever see on the battlefield. He's the deadly, the dastardly Dodoria. Keeping up with the trend of Namek characters, he's the captain of a super elite team holding an unmatched ability to change bodies. He's the gracious, the one and goddamn only Captain Ginyu. You know we had to follow. He's said to be Ginyu's right-hand man. He's the Ginyu Force's Red Riot, the Red Hot himself, Jace. He may not seem like the brightest warrior of the bunch, but he is an absolute beast on the battlefield. He's ripped, the radical Raccoon. He's here to prove size doesn't equal to power. Hailing from parts unknown and wielding psychedelic powers, he's the godly, the greatest of all time, Goldo! He's so fast you may know him as the Blue Blur. Boasting his speed, he's the fastest member of the Ginyu Force. He's the brutal, the badass, Berter! He's the red-eyed warrior from Otherworld, the wisest undead warrior you'll ever meet. He's defeated the likes of Frieza and his father, Cell, and the Ginyu Force. He is the powerful, the potent Paikon. Following him, he's a galactic patroller who doesn't know defeat, a tactical marksman with no limits, friends to Earth's beloved Bulma. He's the Justice, the Judgment, Jaco. Following Jaco, she's the badass youth that's traveled the universe, the reaches of her power yet to be discovered. Daughter to Son Gohan, she's the princess, the Pack-a-Punch, Pan. Keeping up with the Saiyan trend, he's the ruthless leader of the warrior elite, holder of a now destroyed throne. Third to hold his family name, he's the killer, the vicious King Vegeta. Next, she's a hesitant Saiyan from Universe 6, but don't let her skittish demeanor fool you. She has an unmatched, unbridled rage in her heart, so do your best to stay on her good side. She is Kale. Another Saiyan. She's a gang leader who's dedicated to becoming the strongest, yet also has a lazy side. She's a baddie with a Super Saiyan fatty, Caulifla. Following up, he's one of Universe 6's strongest, student under Vegeta the Fourth. With a kind heart and a good nature, he is Kaba. Time to change gears with our next competitor. He's sworn to rid the multiverse of all mortals. Having trained as a Kai, he's a literal time-traveling god. Give it up for the immortal one himself, Zamasu. He has two base variations, Zamasu Kai and Goku Black. Our next fighter is a giant rubber bear with drip that puts Winnie the Pooh to shame. Sympathetic only to his allies, he is the bodacious, the brutal Botamo. A seemingly familiar face follows suit. He bides by the trend of evil accrosions. He's a deceitful bastard who would lie even to the gods. He's the filthy, the fighting Frost. He has 4 base variations. His first, second, third, and final form. Still keeping up with Universe 6 champions. Next on our roster is an assassin. And that's not a metaphor, folks. I'm telling you, this man has stacked bodies with his time skip ability. He's the one and only Hit. Hailing from an entirely different universe, our next competitor is a man unlike any other. Selected by Lord Belmont to be trained as a god of destruction, he's the Titanus Toppo. Another member of Universe 11's Pride Trooper races onto the scene. Though not much is known about him, he's one of the fastest beings in the multiverse. He's the devastating, derailing Dispo. Shield your eyes from the brightest Pride Trooper in Universe 11. He's surviving in the name of his master and is said to be more powerful than the gods. Cower in fear, run for your lives, for now is the arrival of the one, the only, the almighty Jiren. He has 2 base variations, those being Kid and Adult. Coming back to Universe 7, he's a superhero with a fin, dripped the fuck out head to toe in red ribbon merch. He's calmer and more collected than his brother. He is the godly, the great Gamma 1. Naturally, he's also a hero, but with 2 instead of 1 fin. Bringing manga panels to life as he fights, he's the fun-loving brother to Gamma 1. He is Gamma 2. Next up, not much can be said about our next fighter. He's an OG servant in the Frieza Force, and a force not to be reckoned with. He is a Pool. He's a Namekian lord with the ability to grow, conqueror of many planets and evil beyond any doubt. He is the legendary Lord Slug. Not much is known about this competitor other than sharing a similar appearance to his namesake. Let's hear it, folks, for Son Goku Jr. Next up is another fighter of which little is known. He's the fifth to hold this royal name, also looking identical to his namesake. Bow before Vegeta Jr. Keeping up with the Saiyans, she's an OG Saiyan from Planet Vegeta, a trustworthy member of Bardock's team, a woman who won't be pushed down. She's the feisty, the fierce Fasha. Next up, he's a brute with brains, built like a Mack truck, float like a butterfly, and sting like a bee. He's the tenacious, triumphant Tora. Still on track with Saiyans, he's a low-class warrior with a dream, having developed his own Crusher Core in order to conquer worlds. He is the terrible Turles. Next, we have a disgruntled father, a survivor, whichever iteration you look at. He's followed by his son, who's the first legendary Super Saiyan. He is Paragus. Paragus has two base variations, those being Z and Super. Our next fighter is titled as the God of All, a leader who's unafraid to have as much fun as he can. Bow in his presence, Lord Zeno. Following Zeno is his trusted aide, father to all of the angels, giving off sinister energy. Hold your heads high for the Grand Minister. Next, we take a trip through time. He is Cell before Cell existed, able to absorb androids and punch the strongest Z warriors in the crotch. He is Android 13. Our next competitor is the pinnacle of Red Ribbon Creations. With unmatched brains, beauty, and brawn, she is Android 21. Next, he's the leader of the Galaxy Soldiers, a ruthlessly powerful space pirate. He is the badass, the unbound Bojack. Copying Bojack with the B trend, he's a survivor of the Tuffle race, dedicated to revive his people and destroy the Saiyans. Able to take control of others, he is Baby. Baby has three base variations, those being Base, Baby Uzaru, and Baby Vegeta. Coming back to Dragon Ball Super, he's a fighting prodigy of the Heater family, a quiet fighter that lets his actions speak louder than his words. He is Gas. Switching over to GT, he's the 7th Shadow Dragon, intimidating his opponents with his many spikes. He is known to be selfish and unsympathetic. He is Sin Shenron. Hopping back to Z for the rest of the roster, he's a swole competitor eager to fight, long-standing rival to Hercule, stuck in Babidi's control. He's the superb, the strong Spopovich. Our last competitor for this part of the series. He's a Supreme Kai unlike any other, tied to the Destroyer God and one of the trainers of Son Gohan. He is Supreme Kaioshin Shin. For our first competitor, he's a god with luscious white locks, faithful aide to the Supreme Kai, the pink warrior who will create your downfall. He is Kibito Kai.
For our second warrior, he's a god that flexes on all the others, owner of his own planet, wrangler to Bubbles the monkey, the best comedian to have ever lived, King Kai!
Show some love for our next competitor, an OG in Dragon Ball, known as the baddest samurai to have ever seen the world. He is Yajirobe.
For our next warrior, he's the attendant to Earth's guardian, but don't be fooled. Behind the abyss that is his emotionless eyes, there is unimaginable power. Cower before Mr. Popo.
She's a fine lady with personality issues, a baddie in whichever form she takes. Don't get too stunned or you'll miss her. She is Launch.
Our next warrior, he's a student of the Crane style, who's been slept on too long. The one true king of the franchise. Say farewell, Tien, for Chaozu.
He's the master of turtle style, herald of eternal life, and the slayer of any bitches who come his way. Give it up for the nosebleed himself, Master Roshi.
For our next warrior, she's a mother who won't stand for bullshit. A princess under the Ox King. Ass whooper to Goku. I know that's right. Put some respect on the name, Chi-Chi.
I'm leaving that in. That's too fucking good.
She has two base variations, kid and adult.
He's the definition of gone too soon. A loving father figure who is still missed to this day. Give it your all for Grandpa Gohan.
Our next warrior is the master of the Crane School, the older brother to the merciless Tao, a true OG savage. He is Master Shin.
The next competitor has once been credited as Earth's savior, the greatest martial arts instructor to ever exist. Master to Roshi and Shen. Bow in respect for Master Mutatio.
Despite this man's wealth and power, he's vertically challenged. He's the ruthless, one-eyed former leader of the Red Ribbon Army. He is Commander Red.
He's an evil lord dedicated to the downfall of Son Goku. Master over his two henchmen. Bow for your ruler, Pilaf.
Prepare to meet the perfect mix of ninja and canine. A trusted member of Pilaf's gang, he's the savage, the superior, Shu.
She's another member of Pilaf's gang. In the future timeline, she's an absolute baddie. Put your hands together for Mai. She has 3 base variations: Kid, Old, and Future.
He is the reincarnate of a chaotic force who tried to destroy the universe. A farmer boy who helps his village. He is the undefeatable, the unmatched, Oob.
Our next competitor is a mutated Namekian, an evil spawn of the Demon King Piccolo, running fear from Tambourine.
Don't be fooled by our next competitor's appearance. He's no clown that you can underestimate. Bow for Universe 11's God of Destruction, Lord Belmont.
She's the world's very first perfect android, traveling to Dragon Ball all the way from Dr. Slump. She is Arale.
He's a Saiyan legend, believed to be the originator of the Super Saiyan God transformation. Put your hands together for Yamoshi.
Our next fighter has no soul. He's so cool and collected, you could say he's the embodiment of ice. His name is Ice Shenron.
We have another Shadow Dragon up next. Having survived fighting Goku, he's the intense heat of the sun, Nova Shenron.
Following suit is the Shadow Dragon of Water and Wind, arrogant and cruel in personality. He is Oceanus Shenron.
The reaches of his power have yet to be discovered, but don't be fooled. The power of this man is insane. He is the mighty, the menace, Manaka.
You were so not happy about having to do that one. I don't want to hear it, man. I had to do fucking... Who was it? There was one character where I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this shit. This warrior is a minion of Babidi, packing one hell of a punch for whoever stands in his way. He's the potent, the powerful Pui Pui.
This next competitor was the Danger Trio all the way back in Dragon Ball. Sorely missed since then. Don't sleep on my boy, Man Wolf.
Originating from a desert village, named as its savior, he's the invincible, the incredibly strong Nam.
Our next fighter is a devious little rascal, a wolf warrior who knows no bounds. Give it up for the ludicrous, the loudmouth, Lavender.
Famous for his ability to soar on a log, a highly skilled assassin for hire, showing that real men wear pink. It's mercenary Tao.
Little is known about our next Saiyan competitor, but he is a faithful husband and brother to Vegeta the Fourth. He is Tarble.
He's a time-traveling abomination, a force of nature who ought to be feared and unopposed. Let's hear cries of fear for the murderous Mira.
Following suit is Mira's pride. She's a queen across the timelines, a magical badass bitch. Give it up for the terrifying, the terrible, sexifying Towa. Our final competitor for this episode is the demonic God King who wreaks havoc across the multiverse. Bow in the presence of the Demon King, Demigra. He has two base variations, Base and Demon God.
Our first competitor is an ancient Saiyan of planet Sadala. Donning black and blue with unexplored depths of power, he is Shallot.
He's been called the Saiyan in Red or the Hooded Man. Hailing from early Saiyan history, he was once influenced by the Zealot Zaha. He is known as Giblet.
Beware the Saiyan who's been titled the Evil One, brought into the spotlight by Fu on the prison planet. Cower before Cumber.
Our next warrior is the sole survivor of the Cerulean race, sporting an eye that kills any drip the Terminator ever had. He's the great, the godly Granola!
Stomping onto the scene is the metal giant of Universe 6, seemingly invincible on the outside with a soft inside. He's the mighty Auta Magetta.
Spare no time wondering if our next champion is extinct, for they ruled during the Jurassic period, and have preserved ever since. Run in fear from the T-Rex!
Our next fighter is another large type, one to be worshipped by Earthlings for his powers. Collect the Dragon Balls for the main man himself, Shenron.
Following Shenron is not a problem from our next competitor. Built like a cross between a dragon and a tank, praise the Namekians for creating Parunga!
Older than your old-ass grandma, but full of more power than your mom's flip-flop. He's a shining golden god. He is Super Shenron.
Making his way to the combat scene for the second time, he's the blazing red dragon not to be fucked with, Ultimate Shenron.
Beware the wrath of the dragon. This fighter is a massive phantom Majin. Stay out of the way of Herudigan. I've gotten very comfortable with editing, if you can't tell. Very comfortable. It's unbelievable. Gonna have to cut out when you said Chaozu first.
Oh my god.
The whole point of the reveal.
A former boy who helps... Oh, farmer boy. God damn it. We're gonna try it again. Let the cat do one character.
I can't stand this fucking cat.
We have another Shadow Dragon up next. Handing God damn it. Oh my god.
Pui Pui. I know, it sounds like pee-pee. Alright, I get it. I got it.
Did I read that right?
Yeah, you did.
All right, I'm going to retry this again.
I don't know if you remember this.
Sorely missed since then. God damn it.
Just read it once through.
All right. God damn it.
Sorely missed! Sorely missed! How hard is it?
I keep wanting to say surely missed instead of sorely missed, all right? Fuck off.
I wasn't aware this was the Sound of Music we're singing over here. Fair enough. I mean, the L and the U kind of connect.
All right.
It's W decrease.
I'm like, what are we doing? Editing Thomas, fix the shit. Editing Thomas, you're a bitch. Giblet.
I'm
Editing Thomas, work with whichever one.
I'll figure it out.
You really have T-Rex on there. That's so sick.
Somebody's gonna main him. If he's a character, someone's gonna main him. Purunga.
Alright.
Bunger. Not me just punching the mic.